Alright gang, Christmas is almost here and I've got a great collection of boozy fragrances that smell like the holidays. These are Christmas cocktails. You know, boozy fragrances are some of my favorite style or types of fragrances. And it's interesting, I was never a fan of drinking spirits. Now I'm obsessed. I do whiskey, tequila, many different types of these cognac type spirits, and I'm obsessed with it. I don't know if it has anything to do with my appreciation for really strong, intense fragrances, but I feel like that has something to do with it. Because prior to doing all the videos that I do on the channel, I was not a fan. But now I can just sit and sip on a really nice cognac, an Armagnac, whiskey, anything like that. But anyway, I've got some great boozy fragrances for you here. Find out what they are coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Sebastian. We're talking about Christmas cocktails, 14 boozy fragrances that smell like the holidays. Wear these fragrances on Christmas or for New Year's. They're very celebratory boozy fragrances. And you know, I have a few of the usual suspects. There's a lot of new stuff here that I haven't really spoken too much about yet. So if you've been following me, you've watched some of my other boozy fragrance videos. There are some new stuff here that you're going to want to find out what they are. We're starting off the list with Parfumeur's 902, this one right here. Oh my god, this is good, guys. This to me is almost like a combo of Pure Havane by Mugler with an overdose of booziness. There's an overdose of Armagnac here, which I absolutely love to drink. There's blonde tobacco, cinnamon, orange, plums, vanilla, cloves, ginger, labdanum, patchouli, and geranium. Where it's really great, gets ambery, but along the way there's spices that come in, the tobacco for sure, and it's, like I said, a nice combo of basically taking what smells like Pure Havane from Mugler and adding an overdose of booziness. It's quite delicious. So this is 902 from the house of Parfumeur. Let me know if you're familiar with that one. Heading over to a Dutch brand from Amsterdam. It's HUNQ. And this is 002 Barman. So the fragrances of HUNQ are inspired by the male archetypes. And this is the barman, the bartender basically. And what does he do? He serves us cocktails. Love going to a bar and, you know, ordering a nice cocktail. But as I said, lately it's been more about spirits rather than mixed cocktails. And prior to that, it was mostly for me cocktails rather than sipping on like spirits, and I'm obsessed with them. But this is kind of a boozy, plummy take on a fragrance inspired by the Barman. It's lime, sweet orange, fruity brandy base, hay, tonka, cedarwood, ambroxan, patchouli, ISOE super. In the end, it's quite woody, I should say, but there is that kind of fruity brandy base they have here. So it's boozy, and also for me, it's plummy. It does give me a reminder of plums. In the end, it's really delicious. HUNQ's 002 Barman. Check that out if you don't know it. But the next one, going to the house of KILIAN. This is Apple Brandy on the Rocks. This one right here. So I just spoke about KILIAN the other day in an upcoming fragrances video. Sadly, I don't have Old Fashioned here. Otherwise, I would have featured that. But I said, you know, I'm tired of KILIAN's fragrances, but I really, really do love their boozy fragrances. And they do a great job with their boozy fragrances. And this is a really nice, almost like an apple pie-like boozy fragrance. It's got bergamot, pineapple, cardamom, oak, and cognac. It's super, super delicious. It's very, very festive, very holiday vibe here. And it takes me to a bar setting or some kind of a great warm and comforting cocktail party during the holidays or something. It just gives me that kind of a very festive mood. Super delicious. All of the fragrances here are very holiday vibe. They give you that kind of a holiday spirit when you're wearing them. And you know, when you put these fragrances all on, you'll smell delicious and boozy. And if you're not celebrating for the holidays, you'll be in that kind of a celebratory mood when you put the fragrances on. So that's Apple Brandy on the Rocks from the house of KILIAN. And I also forgot to mention some of the fragrances are going to feature tobacco along with the boozy notes, but this next one does not. This is from the house of Born to Stand Out, Drunk Lovers, this one right here. So Born to Stand Out does have several boozy fragrances. This seems to be one of my favorites. It's a fruity cognac combo with amber, vanilla, resins, and of course spices and citrusy touches coming in as well. It's nicely done. It wears super delicious. Once again, very festive, very celebratory, and I think it's the right kind of drink to bring in the holidays and the New Year. You know, you put these on and go out to a party of some kind during the New Year's celebration. You'll smell like you've already had some cocktails, and then you can go have some and not feel super drunk because you're wearing, you know, boozy fragrances, and you know, you're gonna go and, you know, celebrate the coming of the New Year or Christmas. But this is Drunk Lovers. Check that out if you don't know it. They do some great boozy fragrances. I believe that one is created by Hamid Muradi Kashani. But heading over to the House of JUSBOX, it's Beat Cafe. This one right here. So I didn't put 54. I've spoken about 54 quite a bit, and I guess I kind of get somewhat of a holiday vibe, but I get it more with this one. This is tobacco and cognac, but it also features leather, cedar, benzoin, labdanum, vetiver, black pepper, and coriander. I think this is inspired by the Beat generation, you know, sipping on booze, smoking on tobacco, or some kind of a cigar or cigarette, or maybe pipe even. And of course, leather was popular during that era. But to me, it's very ambery and spicy, and tobacco is definitely prominent here. And then of course the boozy notes. It's interesting, when I was young, my dad and his buddies would sip on not necessarily cognac, once in a while cognac, but mostly whiskey. And they would smoke on pipes. So I really love that combination of the boozy smell and the, you know, smoked tobacco smell. Here you get that, plus you also get the spices and the leather jacket or something. So that's Beat Cafe from the House of JUSBOX. Let me know if you're familiar with that one. I guess that might not be so much of a holiday vibe, but it gives me that kind of a very cozy holiday boozy vibe. But the next one I think is really, really super holiday-ish. It's Narcotica's Dolce Diablo. Dolce Diablo is an uber boozy gourmand. Like, if you haven't tried this one, you've got to try it. There's a lot going on here. It's very complex and also a bit overwhelming when you spray it. There's a cloud about this fragrance that kind of like seeps in and takes over your space, and keep your mouth closed because it can come inside your mouth too, and you can taste the perfume. It's that kind of it flows quite a bit. But it's cognac, cacao, sandalwood, rum, dried apricots, chocolate, vanilla, apricots, patchouli, honey, and tonka. It's super sweet, very fruity, and very boozy, and gives you a very festive, celebratory kind of a vibe with all the kind of gourmandish notes mixed in with the boozy touches. It's super delicious, really overwhelmingly loud, but also very cozy at the same time. Dolce Diablo from the House of Narcotica. Let me know if you're familiar with that. So this next one's going to the House of JORUM Studio. It's Spirit Cask, this one right here. So they make these fragrances in very highly concentrated formats, and they come in smaller bottles. They're easy to transport and things like that, and you don't need a lot of sprays with them as well. This to me is a really super delicious boozy fragrance in that it not only features whiskey, it has cognac, it has rum, it has malt and fruity notes like pear, there's vanillic notes, there's woody notes, coffee, labdanum, caramel, maple, and cocoa. So it's an overdose of boozy notes, but you've got all those gourmand notes as well, and once again it's giving you that kind of a very festive holiday vibe. For me, these fragrances do smell like I would rather wear them when it's cold outside and it's warm inside. There's glass clinking going on, you know, eating like little nibbly things and just having a good old time wearing the delicious fragrances that are overly boozy. This is definitely one of them, and I feel like you can totally you know, put it on and just have a very festive, good old holiday party or something with it on. Or, you know, obviously you don't really have to wear it during the holidays. If you're in the mood for something boozy, you can totally get away with something like this. So it's Spirit Cask from the House of JORUM Studio. Let me know if you're familiar with that one. Add a comment below. And if you are wearing any boozy fragrances that I'm not speaking about today, let me know which ones are your favorites. But this next one is more of a cherry boozy fragrance from the House of Boadicea de Victorious. It's Bodacious, this one right here. Are you familiar with this one? Let me know. Bodacious is super, super delicious. It's got a kind of a very maraschino cherry booziness vibe for me, along with almondy touches as well. So if there are any like cherry liqueur type cocktails out there, that's the kind of vibe it gives me. Or if you've cooked something for a dessert and you have a boozy cherry liqueur combo in there, it's kind of what it gives me, that kind of a vibe. But it's cherries, tonka beans, there's cognac, almonds, tobacco, vanilla, sandalwood, amber, lots of other stuff going on in here. It's super, super yummy. There's spicy notes, even floral notes in here, but for me, it's mostly about the combo of the cherries, the almonds, and the cognac together. Super intoxicating, really delicious, bodacious is what I should say. It's bodacious from the house of Boadicea the Victorious. But going to the house of Les Eaux Primordiales, it's Amber Supermassive, this one right here. And I still haven't aired a review on this one, waiting to do it one of these days when I don't have anything shot. I'll air it. And in that video, I was a bit critical about this fragrance, but it has really, really grown on me. In the end, I much prefer Vanille Supermassive over this, but this has really, really become a favorite of mine from this house. Definitely beating over the original Amber Superfluide from this house, which this is an extrait of parfum version of that. It's cinnamon, apples, vanilla, rum, honey, amber, peaches, sesame. There's that sesame note that's really popular. Remember, this is created by the Flair perfumer Amélie Bourgeois. Then there's tobacco, saffron, musk, pineapple, and rose. It's almost a fruity, boozy take on like pineapple upside down cake, but not necessarily dough, but just the caramelized pineapple experience is very, very ideal here with this one. It makes it very, very super cozy, but super boozy and delicious as well. Amber Supermassive from the house of Les Eaux Primordiales. Let me know if you're familiar with that one. So up next, going to the house of L'Orchestre Parfum, it's Liqueur BPM, this one right here. Now they just launched Cocktail Appalachius, which also features sesame seeds. I don't have that fragrance yet, so I'll have to talk about it later. But here we've got their first boozy fragrance. I believe it's their first boozy fragrance. I don't think they have more than two. But it's actually taking like a molecular fragrance and intensifying it with tobacco and boozy touches and some fruity touches. So it's basically aromatic cocktail notes, blonde tobacco, melting pear, cashmeran, velvet leather, vanilla, patchouli, amber woods. So yeah, the amber woods is giving me the kind of a molecular vibe, but I like that it's overdosed with a boozy touch of the aromatic cocktail with blonde tobacco and that melting pear note. It's got musky touches and leathery touches as well. It's inspired by music. That's why it's called BPM, beats per minute, and liquor. So it's a really great inspiration, and I really like this one for its booziness. So it's L'Orchestre Parfum Liqueur BPM. Let me know if you're familiar with that. And then going to a house called Prode. It's blue whiskey on the rock in an old-fashioned glass. Are you familiar with this one, guys? There it is. Oh my god, this is great. This is created by the perfumer... I'm forgetting his name now. Yeah, I'll put the name down, but he passed away last year, and I guess he created this just before he passed away. But it's a super delicious boozy fragrance. It's got loads of whiskey with anise. There's mint, eucalyptus, lavender, yuzu, cedar, oak, patchouli, vetiver, musk, and rose as well. But if you are into that kind of very festive, holiday vibe with an overdose of booziness, you got to get your nose on this. It's super, super delicious. Whiskey and anise together, I love it. I love anise in fragrances, and this is intensified with the whiskey note. But anise to me gives a slight green booziness to begin with. It's very spicy, and so it's overdosed with this booziness, but you've got vanillic and aromatics and spicy touches in the dried down as well. It's super delicious, and it's a long name. It's Blue Whiskey on the Rock in an old-fashioned glass. That is a Thai brand. And the next one is from the house of Reine de Saba. It's Divine Temptation, this one right here. Matthew Nardin's really delicious boozy fragrance for the house of Reine de Saba, and it's featuring amber, figs, cinnamon, rum, cloves, gaiac wood, Peru balsam, patchouli, and vanilla. It's very, very festive, very, very spicy, very, very boozy and ambery, and it's a delight to wear. One of my favorites from this house, next to Reine Makeda. I absolutely love it. Love boozy fragrances, and now I really love drinking spirits. Anyway, Divine Temptation from the house of Reine de Saba. Then we're going to the house of Plume Impression. It's Royal Bourbon. Once again, I've been featuring this fragrance here and there, and I feel like it's got a major holiday vibe. It's very festive, very celebratory, Christmassy, New Year's, and all that good stuff. And it's not only got tobacco in here, it's got loads of booziness as well. So it's got licorice, cinnamon, ginger, pepper, rum, tobacco, leather, caramel, vanilla, benzoin, and amber. Super, super yummy, guys. It's just got, it does have a bit of a pumpkin spice vibe as well. More like the spices that go into the pumpkin spice, like the cinnamon and ginger. But major booziness and also tobacco-ish touches. And of course, gourmand, vanilla, amber, dry down. Super delicious. Check that out if you don't know it. It's Plume Impression and it's Royal Bourbon. And last but not least, we're going to the House of Sherigan. I haven't spoken about this one, and it's once again a super, super delicious fragrance. Very, very boozy, very, very festive. Christmas cocktails come to mind. This is Sherigan's Fiesta Habana. Are you guys familiar with this fragrance? You got to get your nose on it. It's not a very widely distributed brand. They're kind of connected to the Different Company brand. So this is their resurrection of a classic French house called Sherigan. And this, to me, is my favorite from the house. It's rum, tobacco, tonka, davana, vanilla, tolu, balsam, patchouli, elemi, sandalwood, cloves, iris immortelle, oronox. And it's wonderfully delicious, super, super festive, very, very boozy, and also tobacco-ish. It wears great. It's very warm and cozy. And again, once again, it's cold outside, and it's warm inside. You've spritzed yourself with this fragrance and you're sipping on something really nicely, deliciously boozy and smelling fantastic. So this is Fiesta Habana from the House of Sherigan. That's the last fragrance for you guys. Let me know your thoughts on these fragrances, guys. Have you sampled them, or which one sounds the best to you for you to try and check out? The ones that sounds the best to you. Add a comment below so I can find out. Either way, I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas and I guess Happy New Year as well. But I'm sure I'll check in with you guys further before it gets to be Happy New Year. But again, have a wonderful Christmas and enjoy smelling great with some of these delicious boozy fragrances. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video, please share it, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.